right, everybody, welcome back. Going to be taking a look at Bitcoin here. My last update, we were trading probably around this region right here. I think it was 2 days ago here. And we basically rotated this entire range, right, from high to low. We re-entered this on the 6th, came down to the low. We got a couple of interim levels in the middle here that we've been looking for as well. And one of which being the our natural target, which is our point of control, right? So being it as basically 42K. Kind of tagged it yesterday, ran it past today, and so far came back through. So taking a look at what we're looking at, I guess, as far as the current price action here. If you're in the trading group, right, in the leading crypto Discord server, you'll all know that we were looking for this area up here as far as a major area of interest from last night's update. Reason being is that we had I believe it was a weekly, but either way, we had an NPOC, right, coming right up in here. Let me see, that's not the right one. So we had this 42,699 coming in right here. We did have a little wick above that earlier today, and then we closed below. So definitely got a straight rejection off that area. And since then, we've just kind of been coming down. So the areas that we're kind of dancing around right now, you can see if we're looking at just a pure support level, right, comes back into where we were at on the 13th of April. If you're looking at this in the sense of our weekly range, right, because there's pretty much a range within a range all over the place here. I don't usually touch on too many additional areas on these live streams here, but I'm going to touch on this one because it's pretty interesting. So our weekly range is right here, right? So this is what began on Monday. And you can essentially see that we entered it, point of control, right? This is also our current daily open. We ran it to the range high, got that NPOC, tagged that, wick down below. So basically we close back in the range. Well, what do you do when you get back in the range? We go back towards point of control. If we do lose this area, I would be looking down towards this 40,500, right? So we've also got a untapped weekly pivot down there as well, right? So this is our weekly pivot. Actually, it's not that untapped, but we do have our weekly pivot down there. And speaking of our weekly pivots, as far as upside does go, right? I'm gonna take that off, but this is just our short, like really short term, like today's movement, right? Do anticipate possibly coming back down towards this $40,500 area right here. Pretty sure that's actually our golden pocket as well, right? No, it is not. So we actually have our golden pocket of our whole move up from the range low. Does come in about 40,100, so something to keep aware of as well. But looking at this, just kind of back to our just overall range that we've been in now since January 5th, several times at this point. Taking it into that lower time frame there with the current range coming in. We're hitting that daily open. We're hitting that point of control for the current week, right? So that is some support coming in here. Another thing I want to point out is that on the 4-hour time frame, as far as where we are right now as well, we do have our 4-hour 20 EMAs coming in here as support as well. You got the 55 just a little bit below that, about 41,163. So there is a good amount of support coming in where we are right now, right? So once again, just throwing up the weekly range right here. So right now you got the 4-hour EMAs coming into this. We've got our point of control, right, for the weekly range as well. And we've got our daily open, all coming in right here where the current price action is right now. So losing that, and then, we'd probably, losing that on a closing basis, especially 4-hour. Then we'd be looking down towards that bottom of the range, possibly even that golden pocket. So real simple, in my opinion, for the Bitcoin short term, within just the next couple days here. Now the higher time frame of what we're looking for is literally no different than what we have been in search of for the last few months here. And let's see here. We're gonna throw on point of control back up, right? Yep. So obviously we ran it down, right? Got major support, came in right here at the range low. We've since ran it back. Do have the opportunity or the option to possibly come back down to that 40K level or that 4,500. But what we're looking for at this point, right now that you're dead in the middle of the range, right? So, this is kind of touching on the whole scenario once again, that you really want to have, your game plan in place before you get to this position. We talked about this last night in our update as well. Unfortunately, the area to de-risk, right, in the recent move up here was at this 47,700, and I know most people will be like, oh yeah, and it's easy to say now. Well, we had actually been looking at this level specifically for quite some time, and all credit to Magic Internet Money, the other analyst in the trading group. But this is our yearly key level that we never closed even a 4-hour candle really above. So this was coming in as major resistance. A lot of altcoins were coming in at the same time with major resistance. We had bearish divergence popping up all over the place. So this was the area to de-risk. At that same time, we had came in and we had left a ton of areas, a ton of levels right here. If you do remember, right, we had, I'll throw them up here actually, we had our quarterly key level, we had our monthly key level. These were both untapped at the time. As you can see, these were our targets basically as we stair-stepped it on the way down. We had 2 NPOCs as well, and then we lost the point of control, and then all of that basically started off when we bearishly re-entered this range, which at that point you do have to anticipate rotating the whole range back to the range low. So that was all planned out ahead of time as far as the reaction of that, right? You don't know that that's going to occur, but when you start closing back into these levels, you don't want to start planning your attack right here, right? And that's what a lot of people end up doing, is that when you're at these highs and these I wouldn't say this was euphoria, but just in general, you don't foresee this going back down to 38,000. It's really hard to anticipate, and you're just like, whatever, it's just going to keep going, or it gets a little pullback, it'll keep going, whatever. Well, then you start breaking down into 43 and 42, and those those numbers start stacking up, and everybody starts panicking. When I did the live stream at this exact level right here, which at the time we were looking at the biddy box, if anybody recalls, and that was basically the box I made up of the monthly key level, quarterly key level, and the 2 NPOCs. And that was something that we were fully anticipating at the time. Those were our first targets on the way down. And then once again, you get down to this range low, and this is the area where you want to be looking around. You want to be considering putting on some risk, right? You got to de-risk up here. You got to put some risk on down here, and not just in Bitcoin. Obviously, we look at Bitcoin heavily, but this is how we gauge the entire market. So as Bitcoin was coming down to this range low, guess where everything else was coming down to, right? All the altcoins had done a full-on 30+% retrace for the most part. We had everything coming off of range highs, coming back down to major support at the range low, or the or just in general, just yearly key levels, whatever the case may have been. But at the, if you're going off sentiment, this is one of the most fearful times, because even though you don't know that this was going to be the local bottom at the time, you do have to prepare for lower, but you have your validations of that, right? The only real reason to get concerned about going lower at this point was if you started closing a daily below this level, and so on and so forth, right? And that's still the case. Anyways, so right now you're in that same position where a lot of people are very confused, because now we're back in the middle of the range once again. So the sentiment is mixed, right? I think I think many are very concerned and worried that we're just going to melt back down, that this bear flag that everybody's got their eyes on is going to break down. It's just really just gotta have to, like you said, prepare for your own risk management at that point. We'll talk on that little bear flag here in a second. And but realistically, what I'm looking for, what Magic Internet Money is looking for, right? What our group is preparing for essentially is the resolution of this range, right? Either up or down. We've been in this now for quite some time. Obviously, we had our deviation right here. We had a few deviations over here as well, right? All with calculated levels to watch for once we start breaking. And from here, realistically, this range high, this is where you'd want to, probably, if you're not back in the market by now or whatever the case may be, you really want to pay attention to how the Bitcoin price action reacts at this 44,600. If we start closing dailies above here again, this is kind of that bullish trigger, to kind of lead into that more upside. Obviously, that's not the only thing, and we could totally just shoot up above here, re-enter that range, and cycle back down. But it's this range high at 44,500 that's really that bullish trigger, in my opinion. And I think a lot of others are going to make a mistake by looking at only this huge bear flag, right? And what'll happen is which whatever, everybody's got their own deal. I think that what'll happen is that everyone will start to only get bullish when this area gets broken. If you get a little breaking above that, and then that's where everybody will probably start piling in, and that's just such a big missed opportunity between there and now, right? That's about 20%. It's just something to consider here. Also, what's at the top of this bear flag anyways, one of two things would happen in this scenario too, and this is just complete speculation, right? Say we come through, we break this range high, there's gonna be some bullish sentiment in the market, don't get me wrong. This to me would be a very good sign. Obviously our 47.7 is our major line in the sand. That's pretty much what separates us from going back to 60K and all-time highs, possibly here. This is the major area to get above. However, this would still be indicative of continuation to the upside. But most will be looking for this bear flag to break, and by the time that occurs, like I said, you're gonna be up at 49.50K. And what's that 49.50K? Because what this will end up looking like is, say we just run it up and you catch a rejection right here, just a natural ejection, right? And you come back down, you end up making a higher high. It's going to look like we got rejected at this, bear flag high, when in reality, this is actually where our next range point of control, which is our natural target, once we enter that range again above us. So... right, so you got that point of control comes in a little bit below here, but comes in right about $49,000. So good chance we get a rejection off that just short term. Imagine how everybody will be reacting at that point, if that's the case, right? So I'm just throwing that out there. Like this bear flag, I think, is not the only way that you could be looking at this. So it really goes back to the whole idea of when everything was this inverse head and shoulders right here, which I'll go ahead and I'll take this off and I'll just kind of run this idea, because it's, to me, this range has just been so spot on and I don't think many are paying attention for it. So back here, what was everyone looking for? This huge inverse head and shoulders with a target of 58K, whatever. And while that target is a valid target, and we have other reasons for that as well, this was the neckline, so to speak. No one was probably paying attention for this range high, and what we did was we came up and got rejected here, and anybody that prematurely just kind of flooded into the market assuming this would just break, obviously got met with that full range rotation once again. So just something to consider. I'd just like to throw that out there. Anyway, so all right, where are we at right now? Like I said, we're at the current day open. We're at the current weekly range point of control. That's not what I have here on the screen. This is the overall range right now. But yeah, we're seeing how we get that reaction from there. We did have our run up here to 43K. Why did we turn around right here? Well, for a multitude of reasons here, but one of which, right, we were looking for in the trading group, which was right, earlier today we were looking for, we had went over this last night, right, Magic had put up his charts there, put an update earlier where we were running into this NPOC just about 42,700, and looking for that possible pullback here, right? This was just an idea at the time to come back down to this daily open. Don't know if we're gonna get the bounce from here or not, but that's exactly pretty much what we ended up doing here, and so far at least, right? Like I said, you don't know if we're going to get that bounce from here quite yet, but regardless, we did get the rejection from there, and we did come back down, and we are currently revisiting the daily open. So in the short term, however, really looking for the reaction right here. At this point, once again, you're in the middle of the range, you're in the middle of all this price action. Obviously, the best area to get involved or get prepared and enter was going to be at the range low. So now you're going to have to deal with some of the chop in the middle. We do have that golden pocket coming down here about 40K. We do have that weekly range low coming in about 40,500, as well as the weekly pivot. And as far as the upside goes, at this point, I'd be looking for this 42K to get reclaimed once again to continue up, right? So this is the ticket to the upside is reclaiming this point of control on at least a 4-hour time frame in the short term. And then we've got our range highs, the ultimate next target. But I will, bring this area up again. And this is was on the last TikTok update also, is that we do have an untapped weekly pivot stacked right here at about 43.7. So I'll go ahead and lighten that up right there. So that would be another major area of interest up here around 43,500, 43.7, just to see maybe that next pullback, depending on how things are reacting at that point. And then from there, it's really just paying attention for the range high, right? So we cycled it down towards the range low. We want to see that point of control reclaimed. From there, realistically, your next target is the range high overall. And then up here, that's that next range point of control. So, and you clear this range high on a closing basis, and then you got a really good probability that we're going to continue up. Our major line in the sand that really, like we talked about this ongoing, that separates us from ranging again, or returning up to upwards of 60K, is going to be this yearly key level. Right, so right there, 47,700. Obviously, that's where we got rejection from the first time. So clearing these two, that would be the main event towards the upside here. So in the middle, it's all about how we get there in the meantime. And as far as downside would go, right, you come back down, we start breaking this range low. If you start closing a daily right below this 37.5, 37.7, daily candle, mind you, right? This is not just wicks and stuff. That's when we start looking lower towards some of those lower targets again. That only really comes into play when you start coming back down, revisiting this range low. So at this point, we got plenty of space in between us. Chick chaos. Chick is here to cause chaos. So yeah, this is that's pretty much Bitcoin. Honestly, we like I said, for anybody in the group, last night we went over a pretty extensive market update. Per usual, on Wednesdays and Sunday nights, we do exclusive members-only market updates. Myself and Magic Internet Money and Max, our order flow and open interest specialist. For anybody that missed it, is in the live recordings area right here. Like I said, we also have an academy in here. You have access to all my altcoin charts, which we'll take a look at some altcoins real quick. All of Magic's Bitcoin updates, which his updates are well more detailed than mine. Mine is very. I got a very vague, Bitcoin perspective that I throw out here for the TikTok and YouTube videos, but it's pretty much a high level, I guess you could say. But he's got an even higher level, and then plus every level known to man that you can look for and pay attention to, and he can walk you down every single move that Bitcoin's pretty much going to take. So really fantastic stuff. Tonight we're going to actually be holding a YouTube video for the public, the three of us. So that'll be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. If anybody's interested in that, you can go to my YouTube channel, cvo.crypto, and you can get alerted there when we go live tonight. Or if you're in the Discord server as well, we'll throw the link there also. T-Bone is first over there on the old YT. But yeah, for anybody that's interested in joining, that is in the home screen there. Let's take a look at some altcoins. Doesn't feel very bullish, huh? That's the other thing too, is to note is that everybody's still very overcautious, which is interesting to see. Obviously you got to stay cautious, but it's one of those. I feel like it's one of those times very similar, like September, where the price action just kind of started rallying away, and I guess you could call it like a disbelief rally, so to speak. But yeah, regardless though, there's validations and validations of what to look for anyway. So let's take a look here. So. Take a look at ETH real quick. Haven't looked at ETH today. ETH has just been struggling to get out of this range. We got a possible little double top coming in here actually, which is interesting. But yeah, you know, re-entered the range high. So I mean, we start living back in this range again. This range actually goes all the way down to 2,300. We haven't managed to, you know, scoot all the way throughout that quite yet. So I mean, it's very dependent on Bitcoin's price action as well. The 2-year key level has been pretty much an area of that we've been paying attention for pretty heavily. And then you also got, I wouldn't even consider it. I was going to say, you probably start seeing people start putting together some inverse head and shoulders, but these are pretty sloppy. But yeah, looking for ETH really to get out of this range, you know, and start closing above. Yesterday, I think we did close it daily above that, but we, you know, punched back in there. So something of note there. The next targets to the upside, you know, short term, especially if Bitcoin punches up towards that weekly pivot we were just discussing about 43.5, 43.7. I would imagine that ETH shoots back up towards this 3,300 or the April open here. And then from there, we just pay attention to Bitcoin as well. But at this moment, you know, could be coming back down and retesting. This range high has just been gravitating. Matic, so when Bitcoin was coming down into that 38K range low, right, you have a slew of altcoins were all coming into some high time frame range lows as well, so major support. So Matic, it was a good time to, you know, come in and scoop up some Matic at that point as well. Not up anything crazy. I think it's up like 8%. Interesting to note that while Bitcoin was running up to 43 today, the altcoins weren't really moving. It was pretty much a little Bitcoin rally only. So, but either way, you know, Matic here, you know, coming in at the range low, kind of in the middle right now. So, but the next major target would be up here about 154. You do have your monthly open at 162. And overall, you'd want to, you know, kind of target up towards this range high, assuming that the market continues up, and that's at about 198. And that'd be in the short term. And then you start breaking that, we look at the next range. Solana is back to the range high too, so that's very interesting to see. Solana, right, it was one of the, I mean, everything was pretty much just, you know, holding the range low 3 weeks ago, I think it was, maybe a month ago at this point, back in March. Everything pretty much cycled the range, ran up to some major resistances as Bitcoin was coming up to that 47.7, had that yearly key level up here. Got tagged right there. We were looking for about 20 and 30% pullbacks in the market, right? So I got a 34% pullback out of Solana. Actually re-entered this range. So if caught that around this daily or the March open, you know, that was a nice little move so far. But at the moment, really looking to see, you know, you broke out of this range and you're really looking to hold this as like a, you know, an SR flip, so to speak. So looking to hold this as support and continuation from here. You know, if you were looking for a trade idea, you know, you want to probably put that stop loss right below there. At this point, you might get stopped out. You know, everything's kind of coming down a little bit, and once again, you kind of have these little double tops kind of forming here and there. So, very interesting price action kind of formulating here. This might turn into a bat or something, but that's just throwing that out there. But anyways, this range high was going to be that area we were looking for a bounce. We might not get it, though. We might actually re-enter this this range here. But if you do start heading up, looking for that monthly key, April open. And then back essentially up towards this yearly key level at the top there. Tron just went for it recently. Sitting on the range low on the 12th, and then from there just basically, you know, reclaimed the monthly open and just shot it straight to the range high. Gunning for that yearly open up here about 7.5 cents, and then you got the next range low coming in here at about 8.1. Pretty big wick up here though, so it's, you know, possible to re-enter this range up here. But yeah, for Tron, that was a pretty nice little move here short term. Don't really see too much movement out of Tron, 28%. VeChain struggling at this monthly key level. You do have the point of control back down here. If we start seeing a pullback in the market, right, you'd be looking for this point of control here for VeChain. That's a pretty big pullback though, right? So that would pretty much imply Bitcoin's taking a decent hit too. 10%, I guess it's not that bad. Still would probably imply Bitcoin's come down a little bit. But yeah, at the moment, looking for VeChain to reclaim this monthly key level, about 6.5 cents. And then we're looking back up towards this range high. Nothing too fancy for VeChain at the moment. ADA. So when we were looking at ETH a minute ago, right, I was talking about this, like these are super sloppy, but I have to imagine most are going to be looking at this as inverse head and shoulders popping up. And the only thing I would say for some of these is, I tend to flip these patterns over on our levels as well. So it's one of those things where they usually line up anyways, in a sense. But for Cardano, right, we had that major area we were looking for to enter some shorts or, de-risk a little bit up here at the range high. This was also when Bitcoin's coming into that $47,700 level. And then we were targeting this monthly open and this quarterly key at least for the downfall. Obviously, we got a nice, a little bit more than that. And now at this point, looking for this SR flip as well. So looking for quarterly key level to flip as support, 4-hour candle closes above there. And then from there, we're looking back up towards this monthly open, which actually doubles as the point of control. So that point of control is that natural target. It's like acts like a magnet to the price. From there, essentially we're looking back towards range high yearly open. So right now, not looking amazing. But if we get this push out of Bitcoin here, everything will probably start popping up too. So do realize, we got the range low support coming in all the way down at 82 cents. So that'll be, once again, if we start dropping 10% across the board, that's going to be, Bitcoin's probably pulling back 5 or 6% if that's the case. So Jasmy re-entered the range right after we were looking at this way back here. Posted this setup, right? Had a 30% move to the point of control, basically came back tested it, reclaimed the point of control from here, and had a nice move up to the upside. When we were coming back in here, this was, once you re-enter these ranges, you really do have that natural target of the point of control. So even though it took some time, that's exactly where we came back down to. Had a nice little run up from there. And I didn't have it marked, but there is there's a monthly key level we just ran into, or a monthly pivot here. Let's see. Yeah, right there. It's pretty much where we ran into and got rejected from. So at the moment, and once again, like this is not something that you probably want to be entering at this point. And Jasmy is such a smaller project anyways, but at these major supports, these can be pretty lucrative areas, right? So I mean, this is 50-60%, even still up about 40. Getting that pullback for now. Probably going to see it run it back towards the golden pocket area, so call that around 2.1-ish, and this is assuming that the market's taking a little dropper. But from here, we're looking up towards this monthly key level at 3.2, and then essentially back towards the range high. And once you flip that range high, then we'd be looking back up towards some of these other levels here. Last chance for H-bar at the range low. H-bar has been hugging this range low like a boss. But yeah, H-bar has rotated this range pretty well over the last few months as well. Ran it right up to range high, got to rejection, range low. Obviously a slight deviation here, but yeah, really looking for H-bar to essentially reclaim this range, and it's done so a couple times on a smaller time frame. So at this point, you really want to be looking for like a daily candle in here, or just on a spot trade basis. Anybody that's trying to leverage trade H-bar is just probably getting destroyed because it's just even entering around these levels here, you got pretty wide stop loss areas to put anything below the recent low, and yeah, it's just. these altcoins too, they move so much harder and faster than Bitcoin does. I mean, this is 6% move just back, to the low from where we are now. And I mean, that can, definitely just drop, and to the upside as well. But I bring that case up because, if you're looking at something like Bitcoin or ETH, and especially if you're trading on a leverage platform, which I don't suggest, but you don't tend to get huge moves. Granted, it's a double-edged sword because obviously HBAR has the ability to run it, 30% like it's nothing. Bitcoin doesn't necessarily just run 30%, like it's nothing. So definitely more risk, more reward in this aspect. But it can chop you up, especially right now. But as far as a DCA area, this could be a nice area, right? Like this, you're literally at a high time frame, range low. So this is essentially undervalue in a sense to the market right now. So. And from here you got your natural target, right? It's not too much. I think it's like 10% move, which is nothing to snap at, right? 8%. Monthly open would probably be the next major area, and then you got a monthly key, and then the range high essentially at 35%. So yearly open after that would be 50, and then that yearly key level up here at about 30 cents. So those would be the next major areas up here if we do reclaim this range, and then essentially you'd be looking to reclaim the range high for the continuation up. Right, take a look at a couple more here. For anybody that's interested in learning how we identify these ranges, point of control, key levels, things of that nature, you can join the Leading Crypto Discord server, myself and Magic Internet Money. He's the other trader and analyst in the group. We also have an order flow and open interest specialist as well. We got plenty of active traders as well that are also putting out great charts and information pretty much 24/7. You can have access to all of my altcoin updates, Magic's Bitcoin updates. He actually does a good amount of altcoin analysis as well. We do a members-only market update twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays, where we do real deep dives, especially into Bitcoin to just kind of like get a good idea of the price action for the coming days. We've got an academy where we kind of have step-by-step videos on how to utilize the tools and resources we use every day. And then there's a slew of other, channels in here. Books area, we've got about 20 books in there you can download, and keep forever as a member. For anybody that's interested, do go ahead and give that a check. In here as well, you'll have alerts to all of our live streams and everything like that. We're doing a live stream tonight for the public at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube as well. So. Somebody said Luna. So Luna, similar to how Solana, I was anticipating Solana to kind of react, but Bitcoin's kind of dragging a little lower here. Luna here, right? We got our quarterly, high time frame range here. There's kind of two ranges within here. Fell back into it, kind of tapped off this daily level right here, and from there we re-entered. I put up here the March range, so threw that on here because this point of control seemed relevant at the time. So just kind of zooming in here now a little bit. We've essentially flipped this point of control at support, and then if I was to turn this into, you can see how we basically ran it up to the range high, right? So this is March's range. And so far we've rotated the whole range so far. So at this point, it's possible to come back down to this point of control. And if we lose that, we're going to come back down to about $85. So for upside from here, you'd want to see this $98 level, basically flipped as support. And then from here, we've got our levels that we brought from the fib extension here. So this was actually the previous all-time high, about 103. 109 was our first target, 117, 123, and then I got 130 up here as a short-term, higher target here coming in. So all under the estimation here that Bitcoin does continue cooperating. Let's take a look at that actually. So even on Bitcoin, you're starting to get this like wonky inverse head and shoulders deal that I would imagine many will maybe start pointing out. But regardless, taking a look at this with with range data here. Once again, this is our overall range. You got your low, you got our high. Our weekly pivot up here is just an area I'm targeting. Coming into, we got our point of control, which we just lost, right? So technically, when you're below that point of control, you got to anticipate the lower levels here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off though, and just kind of zoom this into a little bit of a smaller time frame. So like I said, we do have our weekly range coming in right here, and we're still pretty much just holding that. So you can see here how we basically ran it up to point of control, right? Reclaim, from there, go to the range high. If you don't break that range high, well, you come back down. We lose that, we're going back down to the range low. Very simple oscillation here. But right now you are at some major support, and the reason I say major, I guess, but for you to determine, but at least enough to hold us up for quite a while at this point. It's our daily open, right, which you do want to see that held as support. We do have the point of control of the current week, all right, and we've got our EMAs come in here as support, right? So you got our 20 and our 55 coming in here on the 4-hour time frame. And what else is there? Might be about it actually. So there's good support here. I wouldn't say major, I guess. Losing that though, we do look at this $40,500 level. Once again, that is our weekly pivot. All right, so just about 40,400, and then from there, we got a golden pocket that basically lines up with about 40K once again. So really like to see this level hold. So once again, it really is just coming down to a reaction base right now. So if you're not in from lower, obviously you want to wait on some of these better entries if they come. Otherwise, you're going to wait for some resolution at this point. So yeah, that's pretty much Bitcoin. Still got our the same targets to the upside that we've been covering quite substantially. Right, we do come through and we take out this range high. We've got our yearly key level, right, that we all know well about at this point. And then we've got the next range, which opens up at the high. Where's that low at? Pretty much in this region, about 46K. So that would be, that'd be the next region to start paying attention for. Obviously, if we re-enter that range, we got a natural target of that point of control. But before we get there, it is that key level, right? So that yearly key level, line in the sand. You break that, and good probability that we're heading back to 60K and possibly all-time highs. All right. Let's see if we can take a look at a few more altcoins real quick. What's the time? LTC. I do think LTC is going places. Take a look where it's at right now. LTC was Litecoin was the very first coin I ever got into crypto with. Okay, so Litecoin, in a bullish scenario here, right? You do have the point of control being held as well, it's not come down to it quite yet, but you are holding above this point of control. So so far you would still be imagining that we're going to head up towards this range high about 128, and one of those things where if Litecoin is looking good, then the rest of the market is looking good as well. But if we start losing that point of control at 108, which we're pretty close, about $1, then we do have we run the risk of coming back down towards these lower levels here. So it's really going to be dependent on how Bitcoin, I think, reacts in this near term here, which at the moment it seems like it's still dropping quite a bit. So, but yeah, as far as that goes, once we do break out of this area for Litecoin, you got the range high to 129. Your yearly open is at 145. You got a 3-month at 153. And then realistic, a big major level for Litecoin is that yearly key level as well, just like any other asset in here, but it's $221. So obviously over time. What's happening to Xcur? So Xcur is a small cap, right? So pretty easily moved up or down. So right now, I would imagine we may be coming back down to this previous quarterly point of control. This is where we actually bounced from the last time. This is about 85 cents if we make it there. So between where we are now is about a 10-cent move. What you want to see out of Xcur is for this range to be reclaimed up here. I know that's a big jump just to even get back in there. But that's about 30-40%. But once we get in here and start living back in here, as you can see the previous time, you run it up, your natural target is your point of control. We actually almost had just 2 straight runs up there. But when we get back into this range, you got your monthly open up here, your yearly open / point of control, and then the range high at 270. So I would be looking around this 85 cent area if we do come back down here again. That'll put in possible little double bottom here as well. And then from there, I'd be looking, to reclaim this range essentially. So this is a low cap, so high risk, not the first place you want to put your whole portfolio, but does have a good upside potential. Obviously, it's only a couple $1 million market cap. Yeah, my pleasure. This is TradingView. Howard, what's up, buddy? When the 50K Pump It Up song. I don't think I'll ever play that song again, man. I feel like, and not because we won't get the 50K, but I feel like it's a jinx. Every time we get the 50K and that song starts coming out, man, I feel like, that's one we might have to look away from. It's a fun song, though. Rune. I was looking at Rune earlier. Where are we at here? Where's Rune? So Rune, all right, let's zoom it out a little bit here, right? So we put the first, I don't think I actually caught this pump here. It was actually right around here where I posted this in the group recently. We were looking for the pullback to this golden pocket. And from here, obviously we're going back to our point of control. And then we had our range high, and then our yearly key level came in here. We obviously had a nice run up from there, re-entering into these levels. Were good short opportunities, and then even right now, granted this could be a double bottom, so I mean it's a little risky to come into it at this exact moment, especially because it's already gotten the rejection, but we ran it back towards the yearly key level once again today, and got a good rejection from there so far. So possible to come back down to the range high down here like 760. I don't know if that'll once again, this is really assuming that's 15%, which would be about a 20% drawdown. So it's really, I think, if the whole market starts kind of coming down, so we'd have to really pay attention there. But yeah, from you want to see this yearly key level basically get flipped at about 980. From there, you'd be looking up. I'd have to add some levels here, but otherwise, you know, this is up a pretty good amount recently, actually. Even at the current level, it's at about 173%, and it did run about 305. So just something to be aware of there. If you're looking at, you know, even like a golden pocket scenario, that does come back all the way down here. So that's the 0.618 as far as a retrace area to look for would be the yearly open down here at the 670. And then with a run up that extreme, and I say that just because it, you know, ran 300%. You know, if you start coming back into this range, while the yearly open would be that 618, at that point you really want to look a little bit towards, you know, this 2-week level or this point of control. But once again, that'd be really, you know, that probably imply that the market as a whole is kind of coming down a bit. So, but yeah, so Rune is something that's kind of pumped. You know, it's if you're holding, obviously that's, you know, great. You're looking for this yearly key level. If you're looking to enter something, you know, this may not be the first one on your list as far as, you know, because like I said, you do run a risk of this still coming down with a decent retrace, which coming back down to that yearly open would be 30% from where it is now. DXY must be hitting us with the throb right now, right? Yep. Just paying attention for Bitcoin again, see if there's anything really happening. Nothing crazy. Coming down to some lower levels though. Lower time frame, I mean. I'm just kind of paying attention to see what's cooking. Doesn't really seem to be bouncing from where we're at, so might go a little lower. What are we gonna look at there? Oh, Lincoln Dot. Link was one we were talking about last week, where when we were kind of coming out of this move here, it's nice to just be aware of where these point of controls are, because like I said, these are like price magnets. You know, even we just got this wick up to here, but if you had a sell order in place or take, you know, one of your take profit levels, that would have gotten hit there, but it was really quick. Otherwise, we just pretty much got dragged back down. Link is in a really massive range if compared to some others. So I'm trying to zoom this in and for TikTok here. And why I say that is that, you know, when we looked at H bar, for example, there was only, you know, bottom to top was like 30% move. You know, this range low, which we haven't even come back down to it since I think February, you know, it's like 100%. Yeah. So it's a really big opportunity. And I think that once we really concretely, you know, flip this point of control once more, and you know, and if Bitcoin starts picking up the pace, you know, a very good opportunity that this, or a very good chance that this is, you know, going to run it back towards that yearly open at $19, and then ultimately that quarterly range high at about 24. But until then, yeah, really just kind of looking for support at this point. So really getting held up by pretty much this node over here. You got a 2-week level right below us. And, you know, you could almost, I guess, diamond pattern this little section off if you're looking at it in that sense and expect to move back up. But realistically, you know, yeah, I'd be looking to kind of just, you know, kind of DCA into these areas here if you can around this 2-week and then around this quarterly low. Not a guarantee you're going to get that quarterly low. And then from here for upside, we want to see this point of control flipped. And once you see that, you know, really good probability we're going to cycle it to that range high. And then we've also got the yearly key level coming in here at $28 for Link. So that'd be a major target as well to the upside, assuming the market kind of picks up. So from where we are right now, that'd be a 100% move, but obviously that's over time. And like I said, we got some speed bumps ahead of us. Oh yeah, BTC's dropping. just dropped between yesterday's low. T-Bone, what's up, man? Came over to the tube. Who else is over here? Chris. Great stuff last night. Yeah, anybody, you're missing out on the whole screen over there on YT. I gotta be better at checking the chats. And Dot. Excuse me. So unlike Chainlink, which is well below its point of control, Dot is pretty much holding it as support at the moment. So I'll kind of highlight this a little bit. Actually just lost it, I guess. So technically we could be going lower. But yeah, it's the same deal. You really want to reclaim this point, and for an area like this where the point of control, the monthly open are basically stacked. Really coming over and holding above that monthly open would be good. On a daily or a couple 4 hours, which we did have originally, just lost them. So and that's really pretty much where we are now, about $19. From there, we'd be looking up towards this monthly key level. We got our yearly open up here at $26, and our yearly key level is at $29. So once again, just once this market, assuming Bitcoin cooperates with us and starts heading higher, these would be the next major areas here as far as downside goes, short term. If we do lose this area right here, we're looking at this daily once again, pretty much just below us at $18. There's a 6-month level right here that came in really well. It's also the range low, actually. I don't know. I don't have it highlighted. But around this area is some major support here, right? So on a high time frame, you not only have a 6-month level here, you also have a high time frame range. Comes in at the low right here, about 16 and change. This big buy zone down here is really like if Bitcoin just completely melts. Which we haven't even reached in any of our recent meltdowns, so I don't know if we're going to get it. And like I said, this is a big drop. That would really imply that we're seeing like $37,000, $35,000 Bitcoin again. Even when we got to those levels, though, we didn't even reach there. So that would be, but that would be if you see an $11 dot, go ahead and grab some. But otherwise, yeah, I think that the majority of the market. We're waiting on Bitcoin to kind of get this reaction at the moment to see how things kind of portray while we're in the middle. Otherwise, it's probably, if you're not already in your positions with some altcoins, if we get this drop down a little bit lower here in Bitcoin, just take a look around here. Like I said, if you want access to all these altcoin setups, I do have them in the CBO updates on the Discord, right? So we got our leading crypto Discord server, Magic Internet Money myself. We do run. You get all the updates here. You get Bitcoin updates from him. And then we also have an order flow and open interest specialist that goes through that pretty well as well. So all kinds of information in here. All right. So BTC about to hit 30K. Always possible. Let's take a look at BTC now that she's taking that drop for us. So like I said, we were looking at earlier, we were looking at this NPOC to get met. I got the rejection from there. And then from there, basically, if you take a look at our current weekly range, yeah, it's no bueno. Range high, just lost the point of control. So quite likely we come down here towards this $40,500 level or lower, right? So that is also a weekly pivot down here, right? About 40,400. So that'd be the next major area of interest unless we start pushing through this point of control, right? So really want to see that, but at this point, basically we ran it to the range high, ran it to the point of control, just lost the point of control. So the next area to look for would be this 40,500. So Hope that all made sense for everybody. If you are interested in learning more, like I said, you can join the Leading Crypto Discord server. Tonight we're going to have a public YouTube video, so do be sure to join that for the alerts there. Otherwise, hope you all have a great day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Until next time, everybody, cheers.